Hi guys, DeMarco here, General Manager at DeMarcoSports.com, and this is going to be your Sunday video report. Here on the video, the NFL free plays that I have been giving away over the past 9 weeks, they are 36, 16, and 1. 36, 16, and 1 with the plays I'm giving away. And today, the featured play is actually going to be the Sunday night game between Baltimore and Jacksonville. And that is coming up in just a moment. FYI, you'll have to excuse my voice. I know it's a little scratchy and a little rough, but when I was doing last Sunday's video report, I wasn't feeling too well, and I thought I was just getting a head cold. As it came to be, I actually came down with COVID, both my wife and I, because we like to keep things in the family, do things together. We both tested positive for COVID, which isn't a real good idea, especially when you have a terminal case of leukemia, and COVID and the type of leukemia I have, not a good combination. So immediately, I did the only smart thing I could possibly think of. I immediately reached out to both Aaron Rodgers and Joe Rogan for, medical advice. Neither one of them were available. So, I got online and I started thinking, well, there's got to be some type of remedy for this. And I thought, well, maybe injecting myself with disinfectant would work. But who and what type of effing moron would ever come up with an idea like that? So after that, I ran through all the other possibilities. Let's use malaria drugs, drugs that are made for horses. Some people would say that only in a horse's ass would possibly consider that. But at the end of the day, I decided ultimately just to grin and bear it because in my case, unfortunately, Paxlovid, which is a great drug, if I went on that, I'd had to come off my leukemia medicine for 7 or 9 days. I can't remember which it was. And I'm thinking, geez, in the middle of chemo, my numbers are already dropping and my remission is in doubt. It's like, do you really want to come off them or just grin and bear COVID for a week and a half or so? But so here we are. It's been a good week, though. I hope you've been following the basketball plays. 12-3 basketball roll, including 8 out of 9 in the NBA after back-to-back top-rated 15-time winners with the Rockets over Memphis, both Wednesday and Friday. Yesterday, I got to tell you, I always say that over the course of the season, you win more games than you lose in terms of those bad beats. That BS that you-know-who guy on ESPN is constantly making a name for himself about. And of course, he's made a name for himself because of the job that he does. But that bad beats is just a misnomer. It's a bunch of BS. Because over the course of my years doing this, you win more of those games than you lose. The problem is ultimately that you always remember the bad beats a little more. And I will grant you that because it's basic human nature. Listen, on Monday night, the Dolphins were the first team since 2016 to blow a 14-point lead in the final 3 minutes of a game. Yesterday, did I have any logical reason to win with the Cincinnati Bengals? No, but I'll take it. And once again, it proves the value of buying down that half point when that line crosses 3, 4, 6, 7, and sometimes 10, as the Bengals were 3, bought them down to 2.5, and walked off with a win. I can tell you today that once again, I have just the third raise the bar 20-dime release of the entire NFL season going. The first one was the 49ers beating up on the Eagles 2 Sundays ago. The second one was the Cowboys beating up on the Eagles last Sunday. Today, I'm calling it my bounce back blowout. I like a team coming off a loss last Sunday that I think will win by at least 13 points today and easily cover the spread. Just like the last 2 plays, it also happens to be the half price play of the day, and you can get it by using coupon code HALF, HALF. So with all that being said, and by the way, I will try to do a few more video reports this week, depending on how I feel. You can always subscribe to the channel and you'll always be alerted as to when I have video reports. So let's get to it. You can just click on that little button down there in the corner. This is not a great card, I can tell you that much. Not a lot of depth on this card. Of course, we had 3 games on Sunday, but let's talk about the Baltimore-Jacksonville game. This is a big revenge game, of course, for Baltimore. Last year, when these two met, 33 points were scored in the fourth quarter. And of course, Jacksonville escaped with the win in that one. 10-yard TD pass by Trevor Lawrence and a 2-point conversion with 14 seconds to play to give them the win. You have to consider the weather in this particular game. Although the rain is expected to dissipate and eventually disappear from the Jacksonville area, you are going to have some wind gusts at 15 to 25 miles per hour during the contest. Now, Trevor Lawrence is 2.5 weeks removed from having that high ankle sprain, but he certainly played poorly the past couple of weeks, and especially in last week's loss, 3 interceptions. Lamar Jackson played great last week against the Rams at home in that overtime victory, 376 total yards and 3 touchdowns. But the Ravens defense was absolutely shredded by Matthew Stafford. If not for a 76-yard punt return, Ravens, could have lost that damn game. The Jaguars have lost consecutive games to backup quarterbacks. Jake Browning shredded them at home, and then Joe Flacco, who I think is 117 years old, beat them up too. So now you've got a much better offensive team led by a much younger and better quarterback in Lamar Jackson, taking on the Jacksonville defense that over the last 3 games has given up an average of 410.7 yards a game. Now, going into this week's action, the worst defense in the league happened to be the Bengals, giving up an average of about 388 yards a game. I just told you, Jacksonville the last 3 weeks, giving up almost 411 a game. So in this spot, I think, even though Jacksonville has proven to be a very difficult place for the Baltimore Ravens to win, in fact, the Jaguars are not only 4-0-1 against the spread in their last 5 at home in this series, but 6-1 ATS their last 7 overall against the Ravens. I think this is a great spot to go ahead and take Baltimore because the series history has been priced into this number, resulting in the better team, the Ravens, a 3.5-point favorite against the slump-ridden team, Jacksonville, which has not played up to expectation, has not played as well at any point this season as it did a year ago. And I would go ahead and take the Ravens and take them down from 3.5 down to 3, buy down that half point, and play Baltimore in this game. Plus, if the windy conditions, as forecasted, again, 15 to 25 mile per hour wind gusts, which team is going to do better running the ball? It's the Ravens with the more mobile quarterback in Jackson. So that's the way I would play that game. Now, looking elsewhere on the card, there were 2 other games I wanted to discuss, and they are the games involving Miami and San Francisco. Now, the Dolphins are going to let, supposedly, reportedly, as of Saturday night, as I'm doing this video, reported about 11:45, Tyreek Hill determine his own status after going through Sunday morning pregame warmups. If Tyreek Hill plays, that Dolphins defense is totally different, as we saw on Monday night. If he doesn't play, or he's not even close to anywhere near 75%, that Dolphins defense doesn't get the job done. The other thing with the Dolphins offense, the other thing with the Miami offense is that offensive line has some major injury concerns right now. They were already playing without one of their starting guards, Robert Hunt. Their starting center, Connor Williams, suffered a torn ACL in that loss to the Titans on Monday night. So you have a Jets defense that is good, right? But ultimately, that line has come down to 8.5, right? It seems like a game that you want to jump on Miami, but the unknown factor is because Tyreek Hill didn't happen to call me tonight and let me know how his ankle was feeling. His wife didn't call me, let me know whether her husband's going to play either. So how do you justify a play on Miami here? Excuse me, this really hurts to talk. Probably hurts you to listen too in this game. And yet, just because Zach Wilson had one good game, just because the Jets demolished Houston last week at home, does that make you comfortable and confident in betting on the Jets plus 8.5, a team that Miami just demolished on Black Friday a couple of weeks ago? I don't know. So let's skip to the next game. Let's talk about that San Francisco game for a minute. The 49ers, I warned you last week, I thought the 49ers were a game to stay away with when they were taking Seattle because I thought it was a prime letdown situation if the 49ers were coming off that payback win excuse me, against Philadelphia. And although they put up some big numbers, 527 yards, and Drew Purdy had 368 yards passing and 2 touchdowns, it was just a 28-16 win. It wasn't something that they put up 42 points. Now they're taking on San Francisco or taking on Arizona on the road, a team that they beat handily earlier. The interesting thing here is that they've got some key defensive injuries. 2 of their defensive tackles are going to miss the game. Jason Hargrave for the 3rd straight game is going to be out, and Eric Armstead. Yeah, say that 3 times quickly. Eric Armstead is going to be out too. Well, what do the Cardinals do best? They run the ball. They're averaging 4.7 yards per carry. Now, I'm not saying Arizona is going to win this game, right? But it's 12.5. I still like San Francisco straight up in this game minus the points, a team that has won 5 straight games, a team that is on a 9-1-1 ATS roll against NFC West foes, against a Cardinals team that has only covered 1 of its last 12 in division action. But maybe the possibility is there to put those 2 teams, Miami and San Francisco, in a teaser, taking San Francisco, the stronger of the 2 teams, and a 2-team 7-pointer down to 5.5, and then simply saying with Miami at 8.5, bringing the Dolphins down to 1.5, and saying, Miami, you got to win the damn game. A game in a series which you have absolutely dominated, winning the last 7 at Hard Rock Stadium against the Jets. And again, I go back to what I said. Do you think Zach Wilson and the Jets are going to win 2 straight games? I don't think so. So that's how I would play that game. I would play San Francisco and Miami in the 2-team teaser, and that would be your other play for today. But the top play, I do like Baltimore minus the 3.5 at Jacksonville. So that'll do it today. I wish you well, guys, and we will talk to you again soon. Good luck, everybody.